Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're back, and let's just start with some intros.
What's going on? This is Alden.
My name is Keen.
Yeah, I got some very good questions for these guys. So the first question that I'm gonna ask is, what major are you guys studying in college?
Resiology.
Minor in physiology, major in shadiology.
All right, awesome, bro. I want to talk about some conspiracy theories for today, though. So there's this conspiracy theory of the moon landing. I want to talk about the conspiracy theory of the moon landing. So some people believe that it's false. When did the first man step foot on Mars, on the moon? It's been like a while, right? It's been like almost 100 years, I believe, right? Somewhat around that. But the question is, if someone did actually step foot on the moon, why are we not shouldn't all countries be competing to conquer land on the moon? And not to mention, some people believe that it could be fake. The whole thing could be orchestrated. The whole thing could be kind of just made in a studio. Kind of the whole moon landing scene could be made in a studio. So what are your thoughts on it? I want to hear your take.
I mean, first and foremost, the U.S. was competing against the Soviets at that time in the 70s, so it's not 100 years. In the 40s, they were in World War II when the U.S. and Russia were allies, okay? So this took place around 60s or 70s. Just, you guys can fact check me if I'm wrong, but...
My bad. Yeah, my bad.
60s, right.
I meant 40, 50 years though.
Right.
It's been
So that's not 100 years.
That's not 100 years.
That's not. It's not. If that is faked like it was, then what's the whole point of this competition? Because the Soviets and the U.S. were competing against each other at that time and saying, who's better, right? And the Soviets, before they collapsed, they're like, okay, I want to prove myself that we're a superior country. So the U.S. had to do whatever it can to beat them to be the first person on the moon. And for you to come out and say, oh, it's just a hoax, and I don't believe in science, I don't believe in, maybe there's video proof that shows oh, there's no wind on the moon or whatever. I mean, you guys can't disprove that science is not real, so.
I mean, do you think that the U.S. faked it in order to prove to the Soviets that we're better? Do you think the U.S. kind of just orchestrated the whole thing?
If that was true, then the Soviets would try everything they can to fact check it and prove that it's wrong. And let's say this is about 50 to 60 years already. Nobody has proved that it's not real. So they had a chance to, but they didn't.
There's no proof that it's not real though, right? Why aren't everyone trying to conquer the land on the moon right now?
Yeah, that's facts.
Because there's nothing on the moon to get. It's just a bunch of rocks. Yes, it's good for geology and something if you want to figure out some minerals there. But at the same time, there's nothing. Understand this. How come more countries are more interested in going to Mars instead? Is it habitable in Mars, or is it more habitable in the moon? You tell me.
I mean, shouldn't countries be just trying to go for the land though, regardless? Because we're all kind of greedy. Humans are just greedy in nature. So why aren't we trying to just get the land on the moon right now?
I think humans are more interested into conquering each other for for economic resources, everything. You see what Russia's doing, trying to take over Ukraine. You see the Middle East is a whole all-out war. Everyone's trying to take over each other, and the point is, they're saying who's going to be the better. Who's better? I have the better religion. I'm the better land. I'm more superior. It's just more accessible. What's the point of going to the moon? There's no value or resources over there in the moon that matters.
I mean, how do you know that though?
I mean, think about it. Why would NASA pursue their explorations over to Mars and the moon? Are there resources in the moon that is significant?
That's true.
It's logical.
Space exploration is also really expensive.
That's true.
Exactly.
Okay, that's another point. I guess.
Time and research.
Yeah, space exploration is indeed expensive. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Maybe it's not worth it to send more resources over to capturing the moon. I guess. What do you think?
It is true. Space exploration is quite expensive, but you know what? Our big man Elon Musk I think he's planning to try to increase space travel sometime soon by 2030. So I think while it's been a while since someone has really been to the moon, I think someone's been to outer space recently, right? There's people in the International Space Station. Yeah. There's if I remember correctly, there's people in the International Space Station right now, and then so Elon Musk is trying to get more people to space travel and stuff, but of course there's a lot of costs to that. So I think we should be seeing some more space travel sometime soon.
Okay, cool.
What do you think about climate change?
I feel like for me personally, I feel like climate change probably does exist, but it's like not at the rate that like everyone's saying, right? Because everyone's like kind of just saying, "Oh, it's so bad. In 100 years, we're all gonna burn to die," shit like that, right? But I feel like it's just not that intense.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like intensified a lot. That's what I think.
Do you feel like summer's been getting hotter, the temperature's been going up, it's been hard to breathe? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I feel like every summer is pretty hot, but yeah, I feel like there's a not that big of a difference, but like I feel like in 10, 20 years the difference might the heat might actually get to me.
A lot. Oh, my bad, Matt. There's been a lot more floods and disasters, storms recently, so should be on the lookout. Speaking about oh yeah. Speaking about climate change and sustainability, we have a business, me and Alden. We're running Cocoa Brick. We're selling sustainable charcoal. Go get your bag now. Hit me up on Instagram, eBay, and yeah, that's my ad. Quick ad.
All right, I'll add it to the description. But yeah, I'll add it to the description. But I think, wait, what was the second question? Oh, I asked you like what your thoughts are to conquer Mars, right? Do you feel like we should have the moon as our colony in order to succeed in the conquest of Mars?
I think in terms of distance, it will help a lot, but I don't think that's necessarily a thing because there's a lot more costs and expenditures that happen. Why not just take one trip to Mars instead of saying, okay, let's plan out a colony and then send like a rocket out? Having a colony itself is really expensive.
That's
I'll say just take the trip itself is a lot more efficient. And,
Yeah, when I think again, I think it's like it makes sense because the distance from the Earth to the moon is like nothing compared to the distance from the Earth to the Mars, right? Earth to Mars is like what, like I don't know the exact, but it's like a much further than Earth to the moon. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, you were talking about like colonization on Mars. Yeah, colonizing with the moon. Yeah, it's like it's just that I don't know like how be able to like what's there besides the moon rocks and stuff, right? Like moon rocks, they're cool and stuff, but like, are we really gonna get like all the shit we have here on Earth? Like, I understand like colonization might be something because like our population is getting bigger and bigger. We need to like eventually we're not gonna be able to support everyone. Even now we're not able to support everyone. Do you know how many people homeless are there? Just yeah. I don't have a lot of thoughts right now, but maybe they'll come later.
I got a second question actually. What do you think about like the population on Earth? Do you think like Earth is overpopulating? Do you think there's like we're reaching the limit, right? Some people think that like 10 billion people on Earth is the limit. Do you feel like we're reaching like the limit, or do you feel like we could go much more?
Honestly, I feel like birth rates are actually going down. If you look at statistics, we see that some of the top countries, even in Asia, are going down birth rates, including South Korea, Japan. Even if you look at East European countries as well, like Norway, Sweden, all these like countries on the right, they're going down birth rates because the country's getting poor. So I understand the idea that we might have overpopulation, and even China's considering what was that?
Oh yeah, they used to have like one child policy.
One child policy, yeah. I understand where it comes from, and if it helps you effectively in the economy, but I feel like have more babies. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that right now.
I have a different view. On that. So, like with our developing countries, like U.S., Japan, we all like the population has stagnated a little bit. For those developing countries, maybe dropped a little. Still, like a bunch of third world countries out there. You all know what those third world countries are. They don't have the education or access to resources like the U.S. and Japan do. So like their population is just gonna keep rising as a result. So yeah, if you look into like statistics and stuff, like these third world countries, they're just gonna keep growing. They're not gonna be able to support their people and stuff. So I think that's like something we should look out for, like more education and access to resources for those developing countries.
I do have a follow-up question actually. Do you feel like there's like a max limit? It's like you said, have more babies, have more kids. There's not that big of a deal. Do you think like there's like a max line that we can't cross? Let's say like 10, 12 billion people. It's like too much. Like, do you feel like there's too much?
Actually, I don't even know how to answer that. I really don't. I leave that up to science, and they talk about what they believe is correct, and that's all I gotta say. Leave it up to science, and that's not for me to say.
What do you think, Keen? Like, do you think like there's a max population?
There definitely is, but like just like it's gonna be pretty difficult to estimate like that maximum because there's a lot of factors in the world. The world's pretty big. Like to say that there'd be like an exact number of like where Earth cannot support like more people is like it's pretty hard, right? Yeah.
For me personally, I would say like I feel like we have enough resources for at least like 10, 12 billion people. I feel like anything above 12 billion, 15 billion might start to get like it might start to get dangerous. But I feel like right now, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think overpopulation is a problem right now. Like, especially if the Mars conquest succeeds, I feel like once we have a colony on Mars, we should be going for like even higher populations, 20 billion, perhaps like 30 billion, right? We want like around 10 billion on Earth, perhaps like a few billion on Mars.
Here's the thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually had a question to that. So like, when you're like thinking of like people like being born and stuff, like, do you also like consider like the quality of life they're living? Like, people can be born, but like like people they have kids, but like they don't have enough money, they don't have enough resources to support their kids.
I mean, honestly, I feel like if you're not financially set, I feel like having kids is like kind of irresponsible.
Yeah.
What were you about to say?
No, I 100% agree. It is a duty of a man to make sure that they set forth of being set financially. And I think that's a responsible way of doing it. Obviously, accidents happen, and it's your fault. If you take that upon yourself, the will, you gotta take care of the kid. There's no ifs and buts, and I'm not in the right set. You have to be responsible as a father to take care of the kid, and that's what we gotta be. We need more fathers in our society to take care of our kids, and you gotta be really careful with the choices that you make, right? Because sometimes people think of down there instead of up there here in your brain. So. We need more responsible people out there in the world. That's what it takes, right? It's for our society to evolve. We need, better examples, better leaders, better men in the future. I mean, we all got to improve ourselves in every single capacity before we're saying, okay, let's consider having a family, because I think having a family is the biggest blessing in terms of, your life, because I think that's what everyone wants at the end of the day. And like, if you want to set as an example of you being the pinnacle, then you got to work on yourself and be better every measures.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's just irresponsible to have a kid like when you're in the middle of a war, and if you're struggling to put food on the table, and if you're just eating rats, then I feel like it's definitely irresponsible to have kids when you're not set for life yourself.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. Like, definitely, like, you gotta consider, like, are you ready to have a kid and stuff? But like, I would also like to say, like, unfortunately, like going back to like those like third world countries, non-developing countries, they don't know this. Like, they just end up with
they just end up with so many kids somehow. Like, why do you think that's like a problem though? Why do you think like so many people in third world countries are having so many kids even when they're not like financially set? Well, why do you think that is?
It's again, as I said earlier, it's like back to the like lack of education and knowledge. Like, so maybe like they're not aware of like how like they're like setting up their kids' future for like hardships and stuff like that. They're not aware. They kind of just like do the thing, and then they end up having kids, and it just happens.
I feel like one reason is because of free labor. I think they just want kids so that they have free labor. Absolutely, yeah. And like these, some of them have like 4 kids. Some of them have like 4 or 5 kids, and like the oldest kids will be taking care of like the newborn kids, and I would see that everywhere. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably because of the labor aspect.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Free labor, like to work like the villages.
I mean, it's all about culture, right? If your society sets an example of like having 4 or 5 kids, then you would follow along with them, right? Monkey see, monkey do, right? If I see people as an example that, hey, this man's having 4 or 5 kids, I gotta do the same thing, right? It's just setting an example of each other. And I think in a lot of developing countries, it's just like their example of what a leader is exactly like that, right? In the U.S., I think we're more blessed and privileged to have stuff, and we're better like in socioeconomically. But at the same time, you gotta look at the third world countries. They don't have that much to work with. You know, they don't have a booming economy, and I think that they're struggling out there. So yeah.
I do have a follow-up question. So speaking of kids, I want to like hear like how many kids you want yourself.
Haven't really thought about that yet, cause yeah, I haven't been there yet, but yeah, I think I would want to have kids, but I haven't really gotten that far yet. How about you, Alden?
It's good.
For sure. I mean, we all want a wife, you know, and I'll say for like kids, it'd be like I want like a big family, so like 4.
Oh wow.
4 or 5, yeah.
You're gonna be able to manage all of them?
I hope so.
Damn. Yeah, watch out for the college tuition. That's a good point. I mean,
I'll just move to.
oh yeah, we record. All right, ready? Is it running?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just move to the Midwest and just call it a day. You know, that's where it's gotta be. Buy land out there, farmland.
Are you sure you can pay for those college education nowadays? It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially for kids.
Yeah, that's why I'm moving to the Midwest.
Just a second. Are you gonna send them to college?
Oh, they're going to work with me in the farmland, bro. they're gonna get manure, feed, get the cows, get the milk from the cows, the eggs from the chicken. You know, we're gonna have our own dairy farm. You know.
All right, that's
You got some names for the kids yet? Any boy names? Any girl names?
Okay, I do have some in mind, but I don't think I can share. Actually,
I think we're asking too much here.
I got.
Asking too much?
Deshaun. How about LeBron? I was thinking about LeBron.
Oh, LeBron.
LeBron. That's a good name.
Yeah.
LeBron.
After
How about
yesterday,
Ryder.
after yesterday, might be Steph.
Stephen.
Did you see him yesterday?
Oh yeah, I saw him
Fucking
yesterday.
Popped off,
The
bro.
glorious king, LeBron James.
The Captain America.
The Captain
Yeah,
America. That's a good
little
way.
Captain America.
I like that.
all right. Awesome. I want to talk about a paradox. Okay, the only paradox I can think of is like the time travel paradox right now. To be honest.
Oh, dude, I love this shit.
Well, what do you think? What do you think? So it's like it kind of goes like, you kind of go back in time to kill your grandfather, but then that means you don't exist. So what do you think about that?
I think from what I've seen, probably decided 2 theories. You either cease to exist because without your grandfather, you can't live. So like the timeline is just gonna change, or like when you kill your grandfather, there's gonna be like 2 timelines that split. Like one where your grandfather is killed and you were never born, or the other is like an existing timeline where your grandfather still lives.
Oh, okay, I have a question though. So what happens like once you kill your grandfather, you just cease to exist?
For the first theory, yeah, you just like
You just automatically like vanish, kind of just die. You just die yourself.
yeah, automatically like just like erased.
Okay.
Just like that. But also the other theory, for diverging timeline theory, you're still alive because you killed your grandfather, but that's like an alternate timeline, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What are your
No,
thoughts?
I 100% agree with that. Let's say you kill Hitler, right? As a baby, you know, you go back in timeline, go kill him.
Oh, did you watch the end of Deadpool 2?
Yeah, exactly.
He tried
Yeah. Deadpool went back in time to kill baby Hitler. He tried to, but he couldn't, you know. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? If you kill somebody, you create a divergent, alternate reality. And this proves the multiverse, why it could be realistic. Because remember how we talk about 7 different types of civilizations?
Yeah.
And number 6 was conquer the multiverse.
Okay.
What do you feel about now? How's your viewpoint of multiverse?
I still don't believe it. Regardless, but I still don't believe it.
Like, what if there's a universe where you're 6'3"?
I mean, I want to believe that, but it's just not it's not there. Okay. I actually do want to ask like a follow-up question regarding the baby Hitler. I think, what do you think would have happened if like someone went back in time to kill baby Hitler? What do you think the world would look like today? Do you think it would be any different if Hitler never lived?
I think again a lot of Jews want to be massacred, so that'll be good. obviously. I think our world wouldn't be as changed as it is in terms of defense, military defense, because I feel like things happen for a reason, right? And
Yeah.
in order to change, in order to evolve, bad things must happen. And the most cruelest man in history gave U.S. The one of the strongest military in the world, right? We have the best cyber defense in the world. We have the best fleets in the world in sea, in air force. We have the strongest military. We're competing against China and Russia, but obviously we're in the top, maybe one or two. But things happen for a reason.
I do agree with. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, at the time, wasn't Germany like they were like going through bad times? Like their economy was like at their lowest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even like
That's true.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true,
So
that's
like
true.
even if like Hitler like was killed as a baby, like Germany like they still like be in a economically bad position. So like
Oh yeah.
so I think like in no time, like probably not around the same time, but like a little later, there'll probably be someone to like rise up and like.
Wait, did the economy take off after Hitler became like leader?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did.
I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure.
I think
I'm pretty
Hitler
sure.
fixed the economy
No,
problem.
the thing is, he didn't, and he did. Well, the thing is, he gave him like confidence in her economically. But remember, like, West and East Germany split, right? Because like the UN, they tried UN now, but I'm talking about back then when you had the Allies. They took west of Germany, and remember Russia took east of Germany.
Yeah.
So there was a wall, right? So the country rebuilt itself, yes, but there were other countries who helped to fix it. So economically, would it be better? We don't know. It might be worse now, but I think it's because we have the supervision of the Allies. It kind of rebuilt itself. That's why. So I don't think it'll be that powerful today if it wasn't for the other allies like Russia and the British and Americans to take it. So yeah.
Also, wasn't there like Italy was like a fascist state as well? Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, like my history's been rusty, but like was it like were they like a fascist state like before?
Yeah, Italy was fascist. Yeah.
Like before Hitler or after?
Not sure. I don't know.
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
They
That's why they were Benito Mussolini. That's why they were allies.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's talk about how. Let's say what if the Axis powers won the war?
Oh, interesting.
And we're
That's a good
Dude, I
question.
think Hitler would have taken over the whole world already if that's the case.
so.
Oh, you think like by like win the war? Do you mean like they beat both the U.S. and the Soviet
Yeah,
Union?
yeah. They
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unlikely though because like
Yeah, that's
it's so unlikely, but
But because of Hitler's ego, remember how they charged into I think Stalingrad, right? They tried
yeah.
during the winters, and they were stupid. He was stupid.
they're stupid. He should have retreated from the start.
Yeah.
I think just conquering Russia like at the start is just like it's a long shot. It's a
Yeah.
long shot from the start.
Crazy,
Yeah.
His ego let him down. That's his biggest downfall. But honestly, if we live under the Axis power rule, minorities will all be eliminated. You and I will be killed.
Yeah.
Japan would take over,
C6s.
right?
I
Yeah.
think eventually Germany and Japan they start fighting. Like their alliance won't last long.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's true.
like Hitler, he just wanted the Aryan race people, right? So I think he saw like Japanese people as inferior.
No, what's interesting is that Hitler considered Japanese people or maybe Asians in general honorary Aryans.
Oh really?
He did say that honorary.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And the reason why Hitler said that was because China, right, had thousands of years in history, rich history, and he respected them because he felt like, Germany didn't have that rich history. Think about all the dynasties that we had throughout the world: the Qing dynasty, the
Yeah,
Ming
yeah.
dynasty, all these dynasties that China had. He had an absolute respect for the Chinese and the Japanese as well.
I want to talk about like what do you think the world would look like right now if Hitler did somehow win that war, which is very unlikely, but
So we would have a pack country where I think maybe Western Europe maybe ruled by Italy, Eastern Europe and maybe the Middle East, Africa, U.S. would be ruled under by the Nazis. Especially, you know how a lot of Nazis flee to South America as well. So maybe South America that'll be taken over by them, and then we have most of East Asia be taken over by Japan and Hawaii and all those little islands. So yeah, I can see that.
what do you think?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, was it Judaism will be wiped out? Obviously, we gotta go. wrap up? I got you.
All right, just keep going and finish the point. Finish the point.
So Judaism will be wiped out. It'd be the Aryan race, where it's like blonde people, blue eyes.
So
That's
you blonde?
No, not this like pure blonde, you know. That's gonna be like 95% to 100% of the people. You said if you said they think of it Asians as honorary Aryans, I think like definitely the Japanese people will still be marginalized because Hitler, I believe he just wanted that one pure Aryan race. Like that's like the best of the best. So in a way, even if he like kind of like lets the Japanese people like live, they're still gonna be like marginalized.
That's true. I definitely agree. I think one major difference would be the lack of diversity.
Yeah.
The reason we have so much diversity in the US is because the government here accepts everyone, kind of. But if Adolf Hitler was government, then I doubt that there would be this much diversity. I feel like it would just be like one or two races in the United States right now.
Yeah. So like like,
Definitely that.
Like if there's an alternate timeline where the Axis powers would have won, like I don't know like how accessible that history with like all those races would be to those Aryan people if they were living.
Yeah,
during
I
our
think in
time.
terms of like military power, it would still be pretty similar in the U.S.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
reason like the U.S. military is so strong today is I feel like it's because they defeated Hitler, because they had to come up with so
Yeah.
much technology, so much new technology in order to defeat Hitler in the first place. That's why like the U.S. military is so strong today.
Yeah.
But what were you about to say?
No, the Soviets actually the ones who actually beat Hitler. Soviets.
Oh yeah. The Soviets I mean, it's like a 1v30 or something, bro. It's like
Yeah.
he's going up against like a lot of people. He had a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
enemies.
Oh, as soon as he like, I think what triggered the war for like Woodrow Wilson that time. He was the president during World War II. And he was like, I'm not gonna get involved. There's no reason for me to do it. And I remember it was the Nazis that, they shot. Remember how they developed submarines that time? They shot a submarine onto like I think it was like a fleet, and it had thousands of people in there, and they died. That's when the U.S. say, "Hey, I gotta get involved," and that's when the war changed tides, because I think Germany was winning that time. They were close to beating Britain. They were trying to rain down fleets and everything on them. So the good thing the U.S. got involved, and that was over. He just wrapped the war by himself. He did it to himself. I remember the U.S. considered themselves neutral. They didn't want to get involved, not at all. But they did send like armory weapons to the Allies at that time. So yeah.
Yeah. You said it all.
I feel like it's a long shot, bro. It's like Germany's going up against the U.S., the U.K., Soviet Union. It's like they're up against so many countries, so it's very unlikely for them to win.
Yep.
What do you think about like last question. What do you think about like how World War II ended with the bombing in Hiroshima and the bombing in Nagasaki? What are your thoughts on that?
Stop talking right there. You're gonna
Dude, that's bad, dude.
demonetized right
Yeah.
there.
You're gonna, no, I don't, no, we're
Stop
not.
talking right